The power of the moon suffuses you, granting you the following benefits. Movable moonbeam. Movable moonbeam. When your moonbeam is active, you can move it up to 60 feet at the start of each of your turns.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that we were familiar with the system already and I knew this terminology, I'd probably get very lost at this point.
Yeah, RPGs have this habit of too many words. Let's make book bigger.
Too many words. I mean, third level Gloomstalkers feel like they get a lot. Yeah, you're right. That's a lot of front loading.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because taking it with a Shadow Rogue.
Alex, today do you feel more like a dungeon or a dragon?
I feel more like a lightning rod with the storm going on outside, actually.
Oh, we're casting lightning bolt. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't become a fireball.
Yeah, that would not be good.
You don't have insurance to cover magical fire, I'm guessing.
No. I don't think that's covered in homeowners insurance.
Not yet. They really should start. Thank you for joining us, everybody. This is Total Pebble Knockdown. I'm Nathan.
And I am Alex.
And today on the show, we have all Dungeons & Dragons all the time, because we are going to be looking at some of the classes from UnEarthed Arcana that was just released by Wizards of the Coast. So, let's get into that. The basic thing that I wanted to talk to you today about was, indeed, Wizards of the Coast releasing UnEarthed Arcana, Player's Handbook playtest material. We've talked...
Yeah, Player's Handbook playtest 6, it says.
Yes, this is the 6th round for them. A lot of the ones that we've gone over on the show before were about the individual classes, but this is really more in-depth about actual player handbook rules, and some updates to the different classes therein. This particular piece has 7. There was another one that we actually missed because we were busy dealing with a bunch of other things. But this one has 7 classes. So they've got the Bard, the Cleric, the Druid, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, and Rogue. And so on this show, we're going to take 3 of those that we decided we really wanted to talk about, and we're going to talk about them. Go figure. Do you want to talk about the Druid first?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, because I think that you had more interest in the Druid.
Yeah, the last character I had really played was the Druids, so I'm more familiar, I feel, with that.
Certainly.
Than most of the other classes in 5e.
The other thing is, I remember when we were talking about the Druid, there were a lot of changes to, like, the beasts that you could become, like, wild shape was wildly different. So I'm kind of interested to see if they've taken any of that advice, and I am going to go right down page 18 of the document, because they have design notes, I'm so glad that they did, of Druid updates, and boy, it seems like there's a bunch. I guess they got some feedback on this one. So here are the main updates in this class since its last playtest version. Okay, so Channel Nature has been cut in favor of restoring Wild Shape at 2nd level. Probably good. Druidic now also makes sure you always have Speak with Animals prepared.
I see, looking at this too, if I look back up at the level progression, first level is Druidic Primal Order and Spellcasting. So language, the order, like your archetype, I assume, and then spellcasting. 2nd level, you get Wild Companion and Wild Shape. And I'm wondering if Wild Companion means Druids are getting a animal companion back. So we're going to find this out.
Yeah, we're going to look at this and just see if there's any rule changes before we get to the subclasses, because I think they've given a few more subclasses I want to compare. But anyway, other updates that they've done, Primal Order is a new 1st level feature which lets you improve your armor and weapon proficiencies or your spell casting.
Okay, so that's not what I thought it was. Cool.
In fact, while we're here, I'm just going to go and read what they say about Primal Order. You have dedicated yourself to one of the following sacred roles of your choice. Magician, you know 1 extra cantrip from the primal spell list. In addition, your mystical connection to nature gives you a bonus to your intelligence checks, the bonus equals your wisdom modifier. Or Warden, train for battle, you gain martial weapon proficiency and medium armor training. So that's what Primal Order is.
I feel like Warden, if you're going for combat druid, would definitely be the way to go. But if you're looking for a skill druid, for your nature checks to be that much better, then magician would be better. But personally, I would go with Warden because medium armor and martial weapon druid sounds gross.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the bonus to that is mostly that you're not as much of a glass cannon if you get the Warden. But I'm thinking for most people, considering how they want to play druids as mostly spellcasters, I would think that magician is probably going to get picked up most.
Either spellcasters or in wild shape, so you don't really need the armor proficiency
for the wild shape.
Yeah, but I'd like to see a druid that, isn't necessarily either of those, potentially.
Right. Speaking of wild shape, another update. Wild shape has returned to 2nd level. The feature has returned to using beast stat blocks.
Good. It has new rules.
And has new rules.
Interacting with them.
Yes. In addition, using wild shape is now a bonus action for all druids. And swim speeds are available from the beginning.
Cool.
So there you go. Speaking of which, I guess let's just see where...
Well, if we're going to do that, we have to do it in order. I don't want to jump back and forth.
Okay.
So let's go down this list on the design features, and then we can go down through the features.
And we'll look at the ones that are, prominent.
Yeah.
Spell casting has one noteworthy change. Spell preparation is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots.
Okay.
Wild Resurgence is moved from 15th level to 5th level. Well, that's a jump.
That's a very big jump.
Okay, and has been redesigned. New feature answers the desire to have more flexibility between using wild shape and spells. Elemental Fury is a new 7th level feature, allowing the druid to increase the effectiveness of their cantrips on their attacks with weapons and wild shape.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes to druid, more than I think some of the other classes, as we're going to find out. Commune with Nature is a new 9th level feature. Improved Elemental Fury is the new 15th level feature, improving whatever option the druid chose for Elemental Fury. And now Archdruid now includes the ability to turn unexpended uses of wild shape into a spell slot. Okay, it's also returned to 20th level, replacing Epic Boon. Epic Boon feats will return in a future UA, but they won't be built into the class's level progression. Interesting. Okay.
All right, then.
Yeah, that's a lot of design notes. Obviously, Druid needed a lot of redesign from when it came out, and I have a feeling a lot of it had to do with how they were framing wild shape. Are you optimistic as we're going to go through this?
I'm optimistic. Some of these sound like they could be good changes compared to what they had done in the notes last time.
Yeah, I don't think you were not really sold on the Beast of Land, Beast of Sea specific blocks.
No, I don't think most people were.
Yeah. It was the
majority, I think, of their feedback said that most people were not happy with that.
Yeah, well, I can kind of imagine, just because you want the specific skills and abilities of different monsters or beasts in order to, actually, do fun things with it, and that it's more... Yeah. I think they were looking at the idea of wild shape as creating a stat block for the monster rather than the functionality of an individual, beasts that you would want to be. But okay, so we got a few things to look through, so let's just try to get to the big ones here. We already talked about Primal Order at 1st level. So the Wild Companion...
Well, you get Druidic at 1st level too, and the feature is actually more interesting as well.
Oh, okay.
Because it says that it makes it so you always have speak with animals prepared.
Yes.
But you can also use Druidic to leave hidden messages. You and others who know Druidic automatically spot such a message. Other people can spot it with a 15 DC intelligence investigation check, but they can't decipher it without magic. So it's that's a neat little feature tie-in you can use for it.
Yeah, it certainly is. I can see that being incredibly useful, especially because it's first level, so this is early game. That, speak with animals, especially at that point, is a big deal. But then also, the idea of using hidden messages kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe like Thieves' Cant, like, a specific language just for them to try and communicate. Great for leaving it out in the woods. Would have been neat if the actual animals could like see your messages. But I guess you could home rule that. But spell casting, pretty straightforward. We've talked about it on in the past. I think it's pretty much the same for everybody. But second level. Okay, so here's the wild companion you were talking about. You can summon a nature spirit that assumes an animal form to aid you. As a magic action, you can expend a spell slot or use a wild shape to cast a Find Familiar spell without material components. Really? Okay, cool.
I mean, it didn't really have much for material components anyways, I don't believe.
Yeah, but I like that just like you can just have a Find Familiar spell, which usually I associate with wizards.
Yeah, it's also says that when you cast it this way, it's Fey, which makes sense, and it disappears when you finish a long rest.
Okay.
So this makes you expend a spell slot for it.
Or use a wild shape. Or the use
I
of
guess
wild
that's
shape.
fair.
So
I guess that's fair.
So you could do either. I guess there's that. And wild shape, back to second level. Power of Nature infuses you, allowing you to assume the form of an animal, and as they said, it is a bonus action. So gone are the Beast of Land, Beast of the Sea and Air stat blocks that we were seeing before, and now your beast shapes basically just have max CR listed for your Druid level, it looks like. So second level, you can have 3 forms, and they can be a max CR of a quarter. Fourth, you have 4 forms, and they can be a half. Eighth, you get 5. They can be 1 CR, and they can have a fly speed at that point. So you can fly.
I feel like it should increase later on. It generally doesn't increase more than like a CR of 1.
That does seem weird though, because can you imagine being like a druid at level 18 and your CR monster is still only a 1. CRs go up pretty high, right? 14 or 15?
Challenge ratings are, difficulty, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't get flying until your 8th level anyways, but you do have swim speed already, which is nice. Or you can use swim speed stuff. So, it says, known forms. You start knowing 3 forms for this feature, chosen from among the beast stats blocks that have a maximum challenge rating up 1/4 and that lack a fly speed. So you cannot choose a flying creature yet.
None until...
Rather than choosing...
8th.
Rather than choosing, you may start with a riding horse, spider, and a wolf. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one of your known forms with another eligible form. So I think that's good for roleplay. Where you can be like, yes, I know these 3 animals. Oh, I came across another animal. Let's try that out this time. And you can swap out forms. Like, that's nice because it makes you kind of go, hey, these are 3 common forms I'll be using as a druid. So it's not just like, oh, hold on, do I got a creature for this situation? It's like, oh, I only have 3 right now. So I don't mind that.
Right. I think that's a perfectly fine balance. I think that's just countered by the idea that during a long rest, you can just change them out. Similar to how some classes can change out spells during long rest. You can also change out your wild shapes. That's fine. I do like that they give just a few basic ones at the start. And I think that those are pretty common ones you might want to utilize. Wolf Spider and Riding Horse for their functionality makes sense.
I've definitely used a Riding Horse for functionality, so...
Yeah, exactly. But, it's good. If you have somebody that's not familiar with the system, and I know that they're trying to gear this towards new players as well as old ones, these are perfectly fine starting ones, and then if you find that they're not working for you and you have a better idea, you can just trade it out during a long rest.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Number of uses, Wild Shape, you can use Wild Shape twice. You regain 1 expended use when you finish a short rest, all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Gain additional uses when you reach certain Druid levels. Just out of curiosity, okay, it goes up to 4. By the time you get to 20th level, you can have 4. So
yeah, it's not so bad.
By 5th level, we have the Wild Resurgence.
Well, we're not doing things in order if you skip around, Nathan.
No. I'm not.
So you also skip the rest of the Wild Shape, but that's pretty self-explanatory. It's
right.
Normal rules, I think. I do want to list out the subclasses it says at 3rd.
Oh, okay.
It says you gain a Druid subclass of your choice at 3rd level. Circle of the Land, Circle of the Moon, Circle of the Sea, Circle of the Stars are detailed in the class description for this playtest. Use of Circle of the Stars from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Okay.
So that's neat. Circle of the Stars sounds interesting to me. The stars are fun. 4th level is just an ability improvement.
Right. Okay. I will make a note of what they give, even if it's not very interesting. Just so that we can... Number 5. Fifth level is Wild Resurgence. This is the one that was originally like 15th level, but they've changed it.
Yeah.
If you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you can give yourself 1 use by expending a spell slot. You can do so only once per turn. In addition, you can expend 1 use of Wild Shape to give yourself a 1st level spell slot, and you can't do so again until you finish a long rest.
You can either give yourself a Wild Shape slot, or you can give yourself a spell slot. I don't mind that. That's neat. Because it means if you're not using Wild Shape, you can just gain a spell, singular. I don't understand the limitation of once per turn on the other one. I feel like most players are not going to be swapping forms that rapidly. But I could be wrong.
I guess it depends on how you want to play it. I think the one nice thing about something like this is that I can definitely see Druids that just want to be more or less spellcasters and don't have as much interest in changing shapes all the time, and this might help to, create more fluidity between them, where Wild Shape can, interchange and intersperse with your spell slots. But I don't know if you really need to worry about the once per turn. Like, how would you do it more than once a turn anyway? Like,
bonus action. And another bonus action.
Okay.
That's all
right. Well, I guess you might as well keep the literature in there just in case. 6th level, you have another subclass feature. 7th level, you have Elemental Fury. This was new, I believe they said.
Yes.
Yes. The might of the elements flows through you. You gain 1 of the following options. We've got 2 of them. Potent spellcasting. You add your Wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any primal cantrip.
That's potentially good. Druids are Wisdom-based, so you have like an up to a +4. Generally not a +5. As often, unless you're really going for it.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's a nice little damage buff.
Yeah, you might want to really buff out your Wisdom if you want to, but Primal Strike is the other one, which is once on each of your turns when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon or a beast form's attack in Wild Shape. I was just about to ask about that. You can cause the target to take an additional 1d8 cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage. Well, I want that.
Yeah, that makes me instantly want to be something that's hitting a lot to take an extra d8
of elemental damage.
Whatever damage I see fit.
Choose when you hit. You get
I
to
like how
choose
there's a
when you
distinction
hit.
between thunder and lightning.
Yeah. Wasn't there always a difference between thunder and lightning? I want to say.
I mean, I'm assuming thunder in this case is sonic damage.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how you're hitting with sonic. Maybe you're throwing a blue rat at them.
It's fun. You're roaring. Maybe just like you roar. You here comes the boom. You swipe it.
That's my day today.
That's your day today. Exactly. I like it's also you choose when you hit. You can see that being incredibly useful when you're coming up against enemies that you are not familiar with that have different resistances and weaknesses. Like, I swipe once with fire, that doesn't do anything. I swipe again, I cold damage, the cold damage does something. Boom. We've learned. Ability score increase at 8th. 9th.
Yep.
9th. We've got commune with nature. You are an expression of nature itself and can commune with the natural world all around you. You always have the commune with nature spell Okay.
I feel like they could do so much more with that feature.
Yeah.
I don't know what the spell does offhand, and it's fine. We don't need to look it up. But I feel like it's having a singular spell prepared as a feature is not as big a deal as it could be.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's fine. Everything's fine. But
everything's fine.
But yeah, you would think that maybe they could make something more unique for the druid itself. I don't know.
Yeah, everything from 9 to 9 to 14 is kind of.
This is very simple. Yes.
Simple, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, literally we have
new subclass feature, ability score improvement, new subclass feature.
Right, and that gets you to the 15th, which is the improved elemental fury, which is great, actually. It looks like it's just more powerful elemental versions of what you got at 7th.
Yeah, so if you took potent spellcasting, whenever you cast a primal cantrip with a range of 10 feet or greater, the spell's range is increased by 300 feet. So that's great if you want to be a spell sniper. And then Primal Strike, the extra damage of your Primal Strike increases to 2d8. That's nice.
That's nice.
That helps the scaling of your beast forms attacks, for sure.
Yeah, especially if you're only going to be a 1 CR at higher levels. At least you can hit for a lot of damage.
At least you can hit for 2d8 plus your attack.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be quite a few beasts by the time you get to CR1 that have, like, multiple attacks that they can do.
Not as many as you'd think.
I guess I'd have to see what the beast list looks like when they update it for 1D&D, but...
Hey, on the bright side, level 16 ability score improvement.
Yeah, good.
But number 18.
Yeah! That's cool.
This is always a fun one. Beast spells.
Yeah.
So, while using Wild Shape, you can cast spells in beast form, except any spell that has a material component where the cost specified or that consumes its material component. That is handy for the person who likes to cast, but also wants to be a cat while they do it.
The other thing to remember, too, Alex, is that at this point, you can choose animals with flying speed. So you can be flying around and now cast spells at the same time.
I can tell you from personal experience, flying around with a spell, really fun. In this case, you can cast a spell that requires concentration, and then Wild Shape, and still maintain concentration on the spell.
Yeah.
That's like Thunderstorm.
Yeah. That would be pretty great. Like the one that's going on right outside your door.
Yeah, and it's calmed down a little now.
Oh, okay. Well, the druid must have passed by now.
I guess it walked away.
It just walked away. I always thought to myself, like, if I tried to be like a pure spell caster, I would try to pick like a character that could actually fly, because battlefield advantage of being up high and turns the whole thing into a real-time strategy game for you for combat.
Yeah.
19th is an ability score increase.
Bunch of those.
Yeah. And 20th level is the Archdruid. So I think they've redesigned this. The vitality of nature constantly blooms within you, granting you the following benefits. Evergreen Wild Shape. Whenever you roll initiative and have no uses of Wild Shape left, you regain 1 expended use of it.
Which is nice.
Great. Yeah. Nature Magician. You can convert uses of Wild Shape into a spell slot. No action required. Oh, you just can do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Choose a number of your unexpended uses of Wild Shape and convert them into a single spell slot, with each use contributing 2 spell levels. You must then finish a long rest before you can do so again. Okay, for example, if you convert 2 uses of Wild Shape, you produce a 4th level spell. Okay, that's how I understood it. Okay.
Which if you're a spellcaster,
Fourth level's great.
Level spell slot. Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, you want that. You definitely do. And you get longevity. The primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. That's more for the role-playing aspect, I suppose. But or if somebody has an aging spell, yeah, I guess that would also help. But yeah, I mean, that list does look, if I remember correctly, a lot better than the first time that we saw this in the initial playtest material.
I think I like the things they've done here.
Yeah. Do you like how they've modified Wild Shape?
Yeah, I think that's closer to what people would prefer it to be like. I like that it's you retain your hit points, hit dice, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, class features, species, traits, language, and feats. You also retain your skills and saving throws, and use a proficiency bonus for them in addition to gaining those of the creatures if it has any. I like that because before I think it was you're using the beast's HP block. I don't know.
Yeah, they had the spell. They had the actual blocks for the Beast of the Land and the Beast of the Sea and stuff, and they had specific scaling abilities to them. And then you could just kind of choose the form that worked inside of it, but it had a standardized swim speed, fly speed, everything. So essentially, that was the whole thing about being a tiny elephant that you were talking about, right? Like, the stats for your tiny elephant is essentially the same as if I were doing a wolf or a bear or whatever other form.
Yeah, and now it uses your HP, so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Did we want to get into the subclasses too?
I did want to talk a little bit about the subclasses.
Okay.
We don't have to go over the whole Circle of Land because it's we've talked about it before, but that they have made some updates. That the circle spells now let you pick a different land type each day, and it has absorbed the old bonus cantrip feature. The spell lists are shorter than their 2014 equivalents, since the Druid can now change lists each day. Has it been since 2014 that 5e came out?
I guess so.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Land's Aid is a new 3rd level feature, which lets the Druid expend use of Wild Shape to heal and harm in an area. Okay. Nature Recovery is now 6th level, replacing Land Stride and enhancing circle spells. Nature's Ward has been redesigned to be more useful and to interact with circle spells, and Nature's Sanctuary has been redesigned to give the Druid another way to use Wild Shape and to provide protection to the Druid and allies. I don't know, like when I saw Circle of the Land before, I was like, this is the basic subclass, you know, it's not, it's gonna be like the default. I
think Land's Aid is really decent. I'm just reading it now to look at it.
Sure.
So, the 3rd level feature of the subclass is Land's Aid. You can channel the power of land itself to bolster friends and harm foes. As a magic action, you can expend a use of your Wild Shape and choose a point within 60 feet of yourself. Vitality-giving flowers and life-draining thorns appear for a moment in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point. Each creature of your choice in the area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 necrotic damage on the failed save or half as much on a successful one.
Ooh.
In addition, one creature of your choice in that area regains 2d6 hit points.
So we're just doing like siphon spells now.
Yeah, when you reach certain druid levels, the damage and healing increases by 1d6 up to 4d6.
At 14th level, yeah.
So each creature of your choice in the area takes the necrotic damage, and then only one creature heals. But that's nice. That's like, hey, I'm gonna cast this and do it centered on my fighter who's taking all this damage.
It's great crowd control, which I think for especially like Circle of the Land, which usually seems very basic to just enhance the basic class, gives it more personality than I remember it having before. And I like that. I like it. Now it makes me feel like I'm playing a straight black deck in Magic the Gathering. Circle of the Moon is a classic. That's what I was with my druid. Circle of the Moon has also had some updates since the last playtest version. Circle forms returned to their 2014 versions, so similar to what they were talking about before. And the feature is improved at 6th level, now called Improved Circle Forms. Combat Wild Shape now lets you use either your AC or your Beast Form's AC, whichever is higher. The feature also ensures you always have Moonbeam prepared, which you can cast that spell while in Wild Shape form. As in previous Druid playtests, the feature also lets you cast Abjuration spells while in Wild Shape form. Most healing spells now belong to the Abjuration school. I kind of remember Moonbeam. Isn't that just like a giant beam that you shoot down from the sky? And
yeah, Moonbeam hurts lycanthropes a lot. Or shape changers.
Yeah. How about vampires? Does it do anything with vampires?
Maybe it's still damage. It probably wouldn't hurt them as much.
Solar. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, if they're shape changer, then yeah, it hurts them.
Oh, okay. Moonlight Step is now a new 10th level feature, which allows the druid to teleport, and Lunar Form is a new 14th level feature, which enhances other features in the subclass. Okay.
3rd level it just makes it so your maximum CR rating of your wild shape is 1 at 3rd level, which is great.
That's kind of nuts, actually.
That's like, hey, I'm just a freaking like giant wolf.
Yeah, you're just a tank. Combat Wild Shape also, by the way. You've learned ancient techniques that allow you to channel the magic of the moon to bolster yourself through Wild Shape. Circle of the Moon was always sort of like Wild Shape focused, if I remember correctly. Like,
the moon is the symbol for lycanthropes and everything, so.
Gotcha. When you assume a wild shape form, compare the beast's AC to your AC. While in that form, you use whichever AC is higher. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Temporary hit points. You gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the form's hit points, or 3 times your druid level, whichever number is lower. So if you turn into a wolf, that's 11 hit points. As a 5th level druid, you gain 11 temp hit points, since 3 times your druid level is higher than the wolf's hit points. Okay. Abjuration spells. While in wild shape form, you can cast your abjuration spells, except for any spell that has a material component with a cost specified, or that consumes its material components. So you actually have a form of being able to cast in wild shape already.
Yeah.
In this.
The Circle of the Moon is kind of derpy sometimes. It's great. And 6th level is great though.
Yeah. Oh, so improved circle forms. Yeah. Maximum challenge rating for your wild shape now equals your druid level divided by 3. Okay. Yeah. Wait. Now I got to do math. In addition,
each of your attacks in a wild shape form can deal its normal damage type or radiant damage. Make this choice each time you hit those attacks. Radiant damage is what Moonbeam does as well. So, like, if you're fighting lycanthropes or shape changers, radiant damage from your attacks will destroy them.
Right. So, yeah, if I'm doing my math correctly, if we're dividing by 3, that would mean your max CR for this is 6?
6 or 7, if you're rounding.
rounding down. They round down. Probably.
Yeah, well, you know, if I'm level 20, I'm taking a level 7.
Yeah.
Or CR7.
Yeah.
But yeah, CR6.
CR6, yeah, is basically what we're looking at. And yeah, that's a big difference from your CR1 that you get in the base class. 10th level, Moonlight Step. You magically transport yourself, reappearing amid a burst of moonlight. As a bonus action, you teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see, and you have advantage on the next attack roll you make before the end of the turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. You can also regain uses by expending a spell slot of 2nd level or higher for each use you want to restore. Okay, that's neat. So now you're a Shadow Ninja too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Shadow Monk.
Perfect.
Cool. And then 14th level is Lunar Form. Oh god. The power of the moon suffuses you, granting you the following benefits. Movable moonbeam. When your moonbeam is active, you can move it up to 60 feet at the start of each of your turns.
Yeah.
I just move my giant moonbeam around. Just
like a spotlight.
Exactly. Move aside, the druid wants to do a little dance for everybody. Let's get the spotlight in the right spot. And then shared moonlight. Whenever you use Moonlight Step, you can also teleport one willing creature. That creature must be within 10 feet of you, and you can teleport it to an unoccupied space you can see within 10 feet of your destination. So you get to magically transport around, and you get to make somebody else a ninja too. That's great. Just shadow step all over the place. So, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest part of that one is the fact that, like, by the time you're maxed out for druid levels, you're getting, like, CR6 monsters to tool around with. That's fun. Circle of the Sea, though. I don't know if that's a new one, or if that was already existing. I can't remember. They draw on the tempestuous natural forces of the world's oceans and storms, and some view themselves as embodiments of nature's wrath. Others seek mystical unity with nature by attuning themselves to the ebb and flow of the tides. Okay, so you get different circle spells, but you also get, at 3rd level, Wrath of the Sea. Ooh. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of your wild shape to manifest an aura that takes the form of ocean spray that surrounds you. The aura lasts for 10 minutes. It ends early if you have the incapacitated condition, dismiss it, right, or manifest the aura again. At the end of each of your turns, you can choose another creature you can see within 10 feet of yourself. The target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against the spell save DC or take thunder damage. And if the creature is larger or smaller, be pushed up to 15 feet away from you. To determine this damage, roll a number of d6s equal to your Wisdom modifier. Okay. That's fine.
I will say the circled spells that the Circle of the Seas gets are interesting because it's a lot of like storms. It's a fog cloud, gust of wind, ray of frost, shatter, thunder wave, sleet storm, lightning bolt, control water, ice storm, conjure elemental, and then hold monster for some reason.
Yeah, that seems a little out, but I mean, I like that they're theming it the way that they do.
Yeah, Circle of the Sea seems really just all about Wrath of the Sea.
It's so you can be Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's the Aquaman one. Like,
it really is, because aquatic affinity is you have water breathing always prepared.
Yep.
In addition, you gain a swim speed equal to your speed. And if you use wild shape to assume a form that lacks a swim speed, that form gains your swim speed. But like aside from that, everything else is just about the Wrath of the Sea.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Which takes the place of your wild shape. It only lasts 10 minutes, so...
Sure.
I mean, it should last your entire combat, but...
Yeah, you gain a fly speed equal to your speed at 10th, and you have resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder damage, which is great.
The resistance is nice.
Yeah, that's excellent. And then your 14th level is the Oceanic Gift. When you use Wrath of the Sea, yeah, you're right, it is all about Wrath of the Sea. You can manifest this aura, the aura around one willing creature within 60 feet of you rather than manifesting it around yourself. The creature gains all the benefit of the aura and uses your spell save DC and wisdom modifier. In addition, you can manifest the aura around both the other creature and yourself if you expend 2 uses of the wild shape instead of 1 when manifesting the aura. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I think they're really trying to push this Wrath of the Sea, and I'm not like, I don't super see it as like a big useful thing compared to, you know, the other ones we just saw. like Circle of the Land and Circle of the Moon seem like they have some really neat things going on. And, I don't know, Circle of the Sea is like, hey, do you want to manifest this aura from Ocean Spray? We're gonna put all of our subclass features in this basket. It's a big aura. I hope you enjoy.
I mean, I will say that the fact that it's an aura that, you know, it's just an AoE aura for 10 minutes that deals D6 equal to your wisdom modifier.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a wisdom modifier of 4, then it's 46, you know.
Yeah.
At the end of each of my turns to anything within range.
Yeah. I mean, like, I understand.
Well, at the end of each of your turns, you can choose another creature you can see within 10 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a creature.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean the damage is nice. It's interesting that they're just really promoting basically that as the subclass feature, and then everything else comes off of it. So.
I mean, on the bright side, it's an aura. You don't really have to do much aside from it. So it's you do all your other actions, and then you go, oh, and you're taking 46 damage and being pushed up to 15 feet away.
Oh, if you take this subclass, I would say definitely do it on first round of combat. Do it as your bonus action. Take the wild shape, you know, modify, and then just use it, because you just keep finger gunning your aura damage to every single creature you possibly can. But outside of that, and the very interesting spell list, I don't. People are still going to pick Circle of the Moon. I just know it.
Maybe. Circle of Stars wasn't in here, so we'll see. We'll see.
But at any rate, so knowing what we knew about the Druid to begin with, you've seen some of the changes now. We've gone over all of that. You've seen some of the subclasses. How are you feeling about the Druid for One D&D in the most recent playtest material?
I think it's a lot better than it was the last time we looked at it. I think this looks promising. Mm-hmm. So, there's my hot take for today.
There's your hot take. Well, you're the one that's actually played Druid. Yeah, you're the one that has actually played Druid, so I'm not familiar with them as much. But yeah, I think that it looks good. I think this is more what people were expecting from a Druid. And I think the reason why there were just so many notes for this one specifically was because of how drastically it seemed to have changed from what people's expectation was of the class.
The funny thing is, I think Monk has more notes.
Monk has more notes? Oh, yeah. God. Well,
no. Do we want to do all 3 of these in one episode? That's a lot of changes.
Yeah, no, let's, well, are we doing Monk? No, we're not gonna touch Monk. We won't touch Monk. We'll do the Ranger and the Ranger and the Bard. Don't worry about it. Remember, we only had time to do 3 for our 3 segments.
Yeah.
We're just picking 3. We can't do all 7. There's way too damn much here.
It really is.
There's really way too much. We're already going long here, but luckily the Druid was kind of a big one, so we got it out of the way. Glad we touched on it, because it was a big deal when we did it. All right, so Alex, we talked a little bit about the Druid, which you've been familiar with and played. Now we get to talk about one of my favorite classes, which is the Bard. Always
Bards. I'm a bard.
That's right. We hide behind the Bards. And they're fun, they're sassy, and they like to fight with words and music. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes that they have made since the playtest material. We did discuss the Bards originally, so we're not going to go over and rehash everything, because I think most of these changes are just shuffling some stuff around. But I definitely want to talk about the subclasses, because those look very interesting. But to start, our design notes for Bard updates. Main updates for this class since the last playtest version. Okay, Bardic Inspiration has returned to its 2014 form. There's a lot of them just reverting back to the original D&D 5e forms for this stuff. But with the following changes. A Bardic Inspiration die is used in response to failing a D20 test. You no longer have to guess whether you failed. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is a big deal, actually. And 2, a creature has up to an hour, not just 10 minutes, to use the die.
Is that in game time, or is that out of game time?
The player themselves has a 2-hour session where they can determine... No, it's got to be in-game time, but yeah. The healing option in the previous Bard playtest has been removed because in playtesting, the healing option was encouraging too much usage hoarding, which easily resulted in the Bard not using Bardic Inspiration at all.
Fair.
Okay. Yep. That turned the... I was wondering if that was going to turn the Bard into more of just like a heal bot, having that option. But spellcasting has 2 noteworthy changes. 1, each Bard gets to choose whether to use the Arcane, Divine, or Primal spell list. And 2, spell preparation is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots. The first change...
Same as Druid with that one.
Yeah. This first change leans into the fact that a Bard might have learned their arts in an Arcane, a Divine, or a Primal context. Okay. And the second change was widely requested in the playtest feedback. Yeah.
So you can choose your Bard spell list from any of the lists?
You choose one of the 3.
I'm hoping you can change those out later, but it would also make sense from a role-playing standpoint if you had to choose on creation and had to learn the others later somehow, if you could access them.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, maybe I'm a bard, but I came from a barbarian tribe.
Right.
Which would put me in the line with primal.
Yeah, no, that would be more of the Primal spell list, I think. Yeah.
I think that's neat. It gives a lot of option to customize bards, I think. Just that alone.
Jack of all trades has returned to 2nd level. Cool. Bard subclass levels now match the level progression in the 2014 Bard, ensuring compatibility with subclasses already in print. Font of Inspiration has returned to 5th level, and it now also allows you to expend spell slots to use Bardic Inspiration if you're out of uses. Cool. Counter Charm returns and has been improved. It's now 7th level, and can be used as a reaction rather than an action. Well, that makes more sense. If I'm going to use a Counter Charm spell, you'd think that it was a reaction to something. Magical Secrets, yes, has returned to 10th level and now affects your spell choice for all your later Bard levels. And then Words of Creation is a new 20th level feature replacing Epic Boon again. I think it's interesting that they decided to replace Epic Boons for 20th for these spells.
I assume classes. People, I don't know, it says Epic Boons will return in a future UA. So they're redesigning the Epic Boons.
Yeah.
I assume because people didn't care for them.
It's interesting that the Epic Boon was supposed to be something, very special, but every class seemed to get it at 20th, and so I think that it just kind of ruined the uniqueness of it, but they'll come back with it. In case anyone's wondering, you were talking about this before, Magical Secrets that you get at 10th, I was just looking at that. your Bard spell list now includes Arcane, Divine, and Primal spell lists.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
So basically, by 10th level, you've unlocked all of your features. You have them all available, which for Bards is pretty damn good. That gives you a very wide range of spells that you can utilize. But everything else is pretty... I'm just looking real quick. I think everything else we've already pretty much talked about before.
Yeah, we can go over the features really quick, I think.
Sure.
If you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Did Inspiration change? You can use it as a bonus action within a 60-foot range. You get to use it equal to a number of times of Charisma modifier, and you can regain all uses when you finish long rest.
That's just like it was in 5e.
Okay.
Yeah. Your charisma die determines your number of inspiration. Your bardic inspiration, and then it changes. Yeah, this looks pretty much like it was before, becoming a D8, D10, and D12 as it goes up. You can add half your proficiency bonus to any ability check you make that uses a skill proficiency you lack, and that doesn't otherwise use your proficiency bonus. For example, if you make a strength athletics check and lack athletics proficiency, you can add half your proficiency bonus to the check. Yeah, that actually is similar to what they did in 5e, where you have half proficiencies for everything, basically at least, even if you're not proficient in something, which made Bards a skill monkey more than anything else. It's very hard to have a negative for Bards. Counter Charm, it does what the name says. Magical Secrets I already talked about. Everything else is actually fairly straightforward. It's mostly about different ways to use your inspiration. And
I like Superior Inspiration 18.
Mm-hmm.
When you roll initiative and have no uses of Bardic Inspiration left, you regain 2 expended uses of it.
Yeah. You just have to find a way to engage in initiative all the time.
Get into a fist fight and then call off the fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's similar to like when we were looking at the Druid, and it's about regaining wild shape at when you start again. So it's kind of nice, especially for classes like these that have such a tie to a very specific thing. To be able to regain it when you get to higher levels and you might need it more often. I want to talk about the subclasses. We had talked about the College of Lore before. We're going to get there. But the other two that they list seem kind of neat, which is...
Dance and Glamour, right?
Dance and Glamour, it should be, yes. Which I believe Glamour was a one that was in 5e, and I think College of Dance was in one of the supplements, if I remember correctly. But College of Dance, not what you thought you were going to do when you started playing role-playing games, folks. Join the College of Dance. But the College of Dance know that words of creation can not be contained within speech or even song. They are uttered by the movements of celestial bodies and flow through the movements of even the smallest creatures. Dance is art, freed from the constraints of a single point in time and space, and it is meaning unconfined by narrow definitions of words and structures of grammar. Basically, these bards are so passionate that they can't just say or gesture. They have to dance their feelings.
These bards got the happy feet.
They got the happy feet. These are the happy feet of bards. And so their skills are kind of, themed around that. Third level, we have Dazzling Footwork. Your practice...
I think this is interesting because it really alters the bard playstyle.
Oh, okay. You've read up on this before.
Just a
I did.
Little, just this one.
Okay, let me read this here. Your practice of dance gives you the ability to gracefully dodge and make agile strikes. While you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield, you gain the following benefits. Unarmored defense. Your base armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier and your charisma modifier. Great. Agile strikes, when you expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration as part of an action, a bonus action or a reaction, you can make one unarmed strike as part of that action, bonus action or reaction. Is this just turning them into a monk?
I believe so.
And bardic damage, you can use dexterity instead of strength for attack rolls of your unarmed strikes. This is a monk. And
that's why I said it altered the bard's playstyle.
Yeah, and when you deal damage with an unarmed strike, you can deal bludgeoning damage in equal to the roll of your Bardic Inspiration die, plus your dexterity modifier. Oh, okay, that's really interesting. This roll...
Yeah, so you're not really a monk, but you've got an unarmored bard who's a dancer who can just, cross-classing this with monk would be really interesting.
Yeah, you go up and boop people in the snoot. And also the damage, though, scales similar to monks, because if they're using the Bardic Inspiration die as your base damage, and that scales up to D12. That's similar to unarmed strikes for monks, where you will hit and then add your dexterity modifier. So that's
not as many hits as a monk would do, though.
No, that would be really OP though. If you turned them into like an unarmed fighter, and then they also had bardic spells and abilities, that would be a lot. Also at 3rd level, you get Inspiring Movement. When an enemy you can see ends its turn within 5 feet of an ally of yours who is within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction and expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to move up to half your speed. Then roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and the ally can move up to a number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. None of this feature's movement provokes opportunity attacks. Oh.
Sounds like, you need to move away from them? Here you go.
Yeah. So that's like, that reminds me of, like, some of the movement abilities, actually, that monks could do with some of the key points, to do, like, your bonus actions. 6th level, Leading Evasion. When you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw, and you take only half damage if you fail. Now they're a rogue.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
this is uncanny dodge.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's better though.
If any creatures within 5 feet of you are making the same dexterity saving throw, you can share this benefit with them for that save.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't use this feature if you have the...
So suddenly having a dancing bard in the party makes them really valuable for the AoE save.
Not only... Okay, so now we've created a bard that's not only a skill monkey that has an improved spell list where they can just have, like, all the spells, but they can also do uncanny dodge, and they have unarmed monk strength.
Yeah, so basically this seems like they're a choreographer.
Yeah, exactly. They're Barishnikov. We're great. Also at 6th level, that wasn't enough, folks. We had more. Tandem Footwork. When you roll initiative, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration if you don't have the incapacitated condition. When you do, roll your Bardic Inspiration die and choose a number of creatures within 60 feet of yourself. You can choose yourself. Up to a number equal to your Charisma modifier. Yeah, each of them gains a bonus to their initiative equal to the number... Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, I also would like everyone to move up in initiative order, thanks.
Yeah, hey, party, crowd around. It's okay, folks. I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration die, and this time everybody gets an additional 10 to your initiative, so... if we could just make that happen, that'd be great. I'm kind of scared to see what 14th level is for this damn thing.
It's pretty simple. You just have Otto's Irresistible Dance prepared at all times.
That's kind of... That's anticlimactic after the last feature.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, folks. That's very anticlimactic after the absolute... like, balls out features of 3 and 6.
Please do not dance with your balls out.
No, that's a whole other school of dancing. That's That has to be a different subclass. Of course, Bards would probably love that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, Bards being Bards. But anyway, yeah, that's way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not gonna lie. I like that they're just taking other class features from other classes, just putting them in the subclass. College of Glamour. It's a classic, actually. Traces its origins to the beguiling magic of the Feywild. Bards who study this magic weave threads of beauty and terror into their songs and stories, and the mightiest among them can cloak themselves in otherworldly majesty. Some design notes. Here are some main updates since Xanathar's guide. Mantle of Inspiration now grants a number of temporary hit points determined by a roll of Bardic Inspiration. Beguiling Magic, which was Enthralling Performance, has been redesigned to focus on enhancing your enchantment and illusion spells. Mantle of Majesty now ensures that you always have the command spell prepared, and you can restore your use of the feature by expending a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. And then Unbreakable Majesty now triggers on a creature hitting you and can negate the hit. Okay, excellent. So basically at 3rd level, we get Beguiling Magic, where you always have Charm Person and Mirror Image prepared. And additionally, immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, you can cause a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save. On a failed save, the target has the charmed or frightened condition, your choice, for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again for another long rest. Okay. So I'm getting the feeling like this is a lot of enchantment and illusion enhancements for this one.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. 3rd level also gets Mantle of Inspiration. You can weave Fey magic into song or dance to fill others with vigor. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of Bardic Inspiration, rolling a Bardic Inspiration die. When you do so, choose a number of other creatures within 60 feet of yourself, up to the number of your Charisma modifier. Each of them gains a number of temporary hit points equal to 2 times the number rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die. And then each of them can use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
That's nice. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, it is. I want to say that there was a spell that the Bards had available, Heroism, which was a concentration spell. I think I used it, actually, when I was playing Max. And it did something similar, like it was a concentration spell, but you could grant it to a number of characters that gave them a certain number of temporary hit points, like every single turn for, like, 10 turns or something. So that's sort of in the same vein. 6th level, you get Mantle of Majesty. You always have the command spell prepared. As a bonus action, you cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you take on an unearthly appearance for 1 minute or until your concentration ends. During this time, you can cast Command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails its saving throw against the command you cast with its feature. Once you finish this, you can't use it again for a long rest. Okay. Alright. Fine. I get that. Okay. And then 14th level, Unbreakable Majesty. As a bonus action, you can assume a magically majestic presence for 1 minute, or until you have the incapacitated condition. For the duration, whenever any creature hits you with an attack roll for the first time on a turn, the attacker must succeed on a Charisma saving throw against your spell save DC, or the attack misses instead, as the creature recoils from your majesty. Once you assume this majestic presence, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. My majesty is overpowering this class.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine.
I like dance a bit more.
Dance is great. It's got so many great features from other classes I've played that just like get integrated in. The one that I did play though Max was a College of Lore bard. So, and it is kind of the default one, I feel, for the bard. There are a couple things that they changed around. For instance, bonus proficiencies has gone back to allowing any skill to be chosen. Great. Cutting words. Yeah, this is good, though. I'm happy about this. It can once more reduce damage, because they changed cutting words around, and I don't remember what it did, but I didn't like it. The damage reduction was absent in the previous Bard playtest because of the now removed healing option. Oh, okay. So that's fine. Cutting words was a better idea anyway. I liked it. Magical Discoveries, which was additional magic secrets, has returned and allows you to replace one of the chosen spells each time you gain a Bard level. Okay, I thought you could do that anyway. Whatever. Peerless skill now benefits both ability checks and attack rolls, not just ability checks. Okay. The thing I remember about College of Lore that was really nice is that it does focus a lot more on the actual spell casting and trying to give you more magical ability, but it also wanted to focus on the big class feature of utilizing Bardic Inspiration. Third level, you get proficiency with 3 skills of your choice. Very bardy of you. And cutting words. Yes, I love cutting words, actually. You learn how to use your wit to supernaturally distract, confuse, or otherwise sap the confidence and competence of others. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes a damage roll or succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can use a reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll your die, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll, reducing the damage or potentially turning the success into a failure.
Do you ever feel like they word these poorly?
It's too wordy for what it is. What they could have just said is, you can use your reaction to target a creature inside 60 feet, roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and reduce the number on an attack roll, damage roll, or what was the other one? Ability check, by the number rolled. Like, you subtract it from that. And you would have gotten to the same, because that's what it does. It's like, if you're the GM and you roll a die, basically, and yeah.
I mostly feel like you don't need to say, you can use your reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll. I feel like you can just say, you can use your reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll the dice, and subtract that number from the creature's, dice roll.
Yeah, it would be helpful, just because I feel like this is just too wordy. But then again, I felt that way for a lot of what we've read.
There's a lot of too many words make book longer. If
it weren't for the fact that we were familiar with the system already and I knew this terminology, I'd probably get very lost at this point.
RPGs have this habit of too many words. Let's make book bigger.
Too many words. Magical Discoveries, which was Magical Secrets or Additional Magical Secrets once upon a time. You learn 2 spells of your choice. These spells can come from the Arcane, Divine, or Primal spell list, or any combination thereof. A spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell for which you have a spell slot. Yep, this is pretty much what it was before. If I had gotten to level 6 with Max, I would have been able to pick any 2 spells, basically, that I wanted, all the way up to level 3. You always have the chosen spells prepared, and whenever you gain a bard level, you can replace one of the spells with another spell that meets the requirements. Okay, cool. And then Peerless skill, when you make an ability check or an attack roll and fail, you can expend Bardic Inspiration, roll the die, and add the number rolled to the d20, potentially turning failure into success. Well, yes, of course, that's what I would be doing it for. You didn't really need to explain that. On a failure, the Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. So
it's like, here's something. I assume they need to add in, you can only do this once per check.
Yeah, that would probably
I feel like that.
Yeah.
quantify it, because otherwise it's like, oh, I didn't expend that dice, let me just try it again.
Yes.
The rules don't say you can only do it once.
Yes, that is true. And then finally we have College of Valor, which is, I think, one of the first 2 classes along with lore that's in the original Player's Handbook in 5.
Yeah. And it's really simple too, so that's good.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. There are a couple updates from the 2014 Player Handbook. You have martial training, which now allows you to use a weapon as a spellcasting focus to cast spells from your Bard list, and you have Combat Inspiration that has 2 changes. The defense option is now triggered by being hit, and the offense option works with attacks of any kind, just like weapon attacks. Yeah, so here's your combat option for Bards, basically. That's what this is.
Okay.
Combat Inspiration at 3rd level. You use your wit to turn the tide of a battle. Basically, either defense, when a creature is hit by an attack roll, they can use its reaction to roll the Bardic Inspiration and add the number rolled to the AC against it. And then offense, where immediately after a creature hits a target with an attack roll, they can roll a Bardic Inspiration and add the number rolled to the damage against the target. You get martial training, which means that you gain proficiency with martial weapons and medium armor and shields. You can also use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus. You get an extra attack at 6th, which makes it...
Which is nice.
Much more like a martial class would, similarly. And then at 14th level, you get battle magic. After you cast a spell that has casting time of an action, you can make 1 attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So, you get to cast your spell and poke people in the eye. So, that's good.
Both are good.
Both are good. Very basic, but I think that that's perfectly fine. Valor is really supposed to be so that your Bard is a frontline fighter, in more or less that way. So that's good. I'm glad that they made the change. The only thing that I really am happy about is that they changed cutting words back to what it was before, because I didn't...
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good changes then?
Good changes. I totally understand the healing aspect that they had from before getting cut, because I did look at that and think to myself, well, this is just going to make the Bard basically the cleric light of the party, basically just going to be utilized in that regard, and there's so much other functionality you want with Bards, where they have so many things that they can do, and the versatility of them is really one of the fun things about them. I'm not going to lie, the College of Dance is the best subclass.
It is pretty great.
And considering that I do like playing rogues and monks, it's like just putting monk and rogue class features into the...
Now, you gotta take College of Dance with the rogue levels, you can backstab.
Oh yeah, let's do that too. I'll get my uncanny dodge, I'll be all set, so there you go. Yeah, I like those changes. I think that makes perfect sense. This seems to be much more shored up. I'm good with it. That's my hot take. I'm good with those changes, and I'm mostly just happy that they changed College of Lore back.
Yeah.
And College of Dance is kind of stupid, but I love it.
Let us know in the comments if you'd be a dancing bard.
That's right. And are you going to dab? Can I be a dabbing bard?
Sure, you can probably plank too. Why don't you do the worm?
I need a bard that's just from the breakdancing school, and we can just do an 80s inspired breaking parody. You
need one bard who can beatbox and the other who can dance.
You don't need 2 different bards for that. One bard will do both of those jobs for you. You kidding me? And so we come to our 3rd class that we're going to be focusing on, which is the Ranger. And Alex, you've played a Ranger before?
Once or twice. A Ranger or 2.
I have not had much familiarity with the Rangers. I think I played one for that 3.5 campaign that I did that one time. But realistically, I'm not very familiar with playing them, especially in 5. They are a classic, and I think it's interesting to see what they're doing with it. We talked about the initial part when they came out with the first playtest, but design notes that they've given, some updates. First of all, Deft Explorer It replaces the expertise feature at first level. It includes one expertise choice, along with some terrain-oriented material. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently this is playtesters requested this.
Yeah.
Because before you would have favored terrain. I don't know if it was in 5th or if it was in earlier editions. I think it might have been 5th. I think you had favored terrain, so this sounds like it's got some similarities in there.
Sure.
We'll check it out, though.
Yeah, we'll check it. Spellcasting has a few changes. Spell preparation is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots. This seems to be a common occurrence.
Which seems to be an overall change, yep.
Yeah. The ranger can change one prepare spell upon finishing a long rest. Also seems to be pretty common now. And cantrips are no longer included. The ranger instead gets weapon mastery at first level.
Oh, okay. So if you look down here, it doesn't look like they actually know cantrips.
They don't. They do not know
Which
cantrips.
I think puts it on par with other half-casters. Like the paladin. Yeah. For instance, I don't think the paladin knows cantrips either. So I think that's probably a good thing, because a lot of the cantrips that casters get are ones that are like, hey, these are kind of staple because they're damage dealing, where the ranger is not really, based on that. So I think that's probably fine.
Yeah. Weapon mastery is a new first level feature. We'll talk about that in a second. And then favored enemy has moved to second level, and no longer...
There is more, so don't worry.
Yeah. No longer removes concentration from Hunter's Mark, which was overpowered in playtests. Feature instead now allows you to cast a spell a number of times without expending a spell slot. Okay.
Nice. Subclass levels now match your progression in 2014, ensuring compatibility with subclasses print.
Sure.
Conjure Barrage is a new 9th level feature. That sounds fun.
Oh, we're going to talk about that, yeah.
Nature's Veil no longer uses spell slots, and it has moved to 14th level.
Okay, great.
Tireless now gives temporary hit points as an action, as in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Conjure Volley is a new 17th level feature. I assume it's similar to Conjure Barrage in some senses.
Sounds it.
Speaking of senses, Feral Senses has returned to level 18.
And then
Foe Slayer, new and improved version of the 2014 feature is returned to 20th level, replacing Epic Boon. And it is not limited to once per turn, apparently.
Yeah. This is interesting. I don't necessarily mind this idea of them replacing the epic boons at 20th level. I think people like to have specific class features for those. Yeah, let's look at the ranger class features real quick. There's a lot of changes here. First level, well, the spell casting, we know pretty much about that. But Deft Explorer. You are an unsurpassed explorer. Choose one of your proficiencies in a skill that appears on a ranger skill list. You gain expertise in that skill. In addition, you choose 2 types of terrain, from Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grasslands, mountain, swamp, or the Underdark, and you have advantage on intelligence checks about the chosen terrains, and advantage on wisdom checks to track creatures in them. Is that pretty much what it was like in 5?
Yeah, you would be better at navigation, nature checks type deals, and then survival checks in them. This is just survival checks that track creatures, but I feel like it should just be survival checks in general.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah. And 2 types. I thought that rangers traditionally had only gotten the 1 type. They had a favorite
Yes.
type. Okay.
And it does go on to say that whenever you finish a long rest, you can meditate and replace one of the chosen types with a different type from the list.
Oh. Okay.
So it is something you can swap around. So if you're going from biome to biome, that's helpful, I guess.
You also get weapon mastery at first. So training in weapons allows you to use the mastery property on 2 kinds of weapons of your choice, such as longbows and longswords. And whenever you finish a long rest, you can change the types of weapons you can choose. So, again, long rests, you can just change out your whole arsenal pretty much about the ranger stuff.
Does this say what the mastery does, though?
What the mastery does? No.
I don't know. Is mastery thing just in general? Like, does it add something? Anyways, if you know what mastery is, if it doesn't explain this later on, let us know in the comments. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Second level, favorite enemy. You're adept at focusing on a single foe. You always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared. You can cast it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier without spending a spell slot, and you regain all expended uses of the ability when you finish a long rest. Hunter's Mark is a really helpful spell. It's really great for abusing the crap out of a monster's death.
Yeah, it makes rangers much more functional, especially when you are trying to concentrate on a single enemy.
Yes.
That is a big thing that the rangers can do that is not necessarily ingrained in other classes, is the ability to concentrate fire and damage on singular enemies that are on the battlefield. So Hunter's Mark helps out a lot with that. Also, fighting style, you have honed your martial prowess, and you gain one of these defensive style. You can do archery, defense, dueling, two-weapon, the basics.
Which is standard.
Yeah.
Ranger subclasses at level 3, which are, they have Beastmaster, Fey Wanderer, Gloomstalker, Hunter.
Yes, and I think Hunter we talked about before. That's usually a standard one, but...
Yeah, and Beastmaster is probably going to be the fun one for people that has the companion, so...
I'm actually more interested in Gloomstalker when we get to that, because I kind of remember something about that before, and I think people didn't like it all that much, but we'll see. 4th level, ability score increase, extra attack at 5th. 6th level.
That's nice. Usually, I feel like that's usually 6, but I'll take it.
It was 6th with the subclass for the Bard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was a subclass feature. But yeah, no, I think for martial classes, I think it's usually 5th.
That's fair. I do like this next feature at 6th level.
Yeah, roving.
Your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. You're probably not going to be wearing heavy armor as a ranger.
No.
Just saying. You also have a climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed, which has been increased by 10 feet. So you've got decent climb and swim speed. You're just moving along.
Yeah.
7th is a subclass feature.
Yes.
8th is an ability score improvement. 9th, Conjure Barrage.
Yes.
Barrage. Conjure Barrage.
Barrage.
Cabage. It was French for a second. Baja.
Yeah, it's a cabage. We conjure a cabbage. We
conjure cabbage.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, yeah, so Conjure Barrage. Channeling Nature's Might, you can cause your weapon to multiply and strike at creatures before you. You always have the Conjure Barrage spell prepared. Okay.
Nice.
Crowd control. Good to know. You have a Deft Explorer improvement at 9th, where you gain expertise in a skill, choosing one of your proficiencies. And in addition, choose 2 more terrain types.
I feel like that's unnecessary if you can just meditate and swap them, but I mean, I'll take 4 at once, I guess.
How many biomes are you going through before finishing
Minecraft? 16 blocks.
If you're in Minecraft, the ranger is really great for you. 10th,
let's see.
Tireless.
What are the Arctic coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, underdark? I mean, you can have half that list, so it's fine.
Yeah. At a certain point, I start to wonder what the point is of even just, like, having a favorite terrain at all. You might as well just make it all of them. But anyway, 10th level is Tireless. Primal Forces now help fuel you on your journeys, so you get temporary hit points. As an action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8, plus your Wisdom modifier. And you can use a number of actions of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. And you get decrease exhaustion when you finish a short rest. Your exhaustion level, if any, decreases by 1. But
I feel like I want to use this ability, all 4 of my Wisdom modifier uses of it at once.
Yes. Right before you go up against the really big thing. And then you get a lot of temporary hit points that you can utilize. Out of curiosity, it does not... No, it does not have a time limit on those temporary hit points, does it?
I think they'll go away once you rest. So.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if between rests, if you just decided to utilize that, you could get a lot of temporary hit points, like right up at the front.
True.
Yeah, something to think about. If you want to be a juggernaut.
Oh yeah, you regain all uses of it when you finish. Oh, a long rest. Never mind.
Yeah. But it doesn't say that the temporary hit points are gone. It doesn't tell you how much you can use this action a number of times.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
11th subclass feature, 12th ability score improvement.
Yeah.
14. Nature's Veil. You invoke spirits of nature to magically hide yourself from view. As a bonus action, you can give yourself the invisible condition. I didn't know that was a condition until the end of the next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. Minimum once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish long rest. Wisdom is really important if you want to be a spellcasting ranger.
Yeah.
Also, can you hear this ringing?
Nope.
Okay, you're good. It's storming again, really good.
So you can just turn invisible at 14th.
Yeah, you're just being invisible. It's all good.
Perfect. I love it. 15th.
Doesn't say how much doesn't say how long it lasts for. I assume it's when you look at that condition.
Until the end of your next turn.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. My bad.
It's there.
I'm distracted by a storm overhead.
It is not
subclass
invisible.
feature,
yes.
Ability score improvement, Conjure Volley. Propelled by primal spirits, your weapon can strike a group of targets far away. You always have the Conjure Volley spell prepared.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that's similar to Conjure Barrage.
Yes,
but probably
similar, but a different spell.
Yeah.
Probably higher level.
And for arrows or something.
Right.
18th, you get Feral Senses. Your connection to the forces of nature grants you blind sight with a range of 30 feet. Cool. 19th, you get an ability score improvement, and 20th level is Foe Slayer. Yeah, we were looking at this before. You become an unparalleled hunter of foes. When your attack roll misses the target of your hunter's mark, you can add your wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially turning it into a hit. In addition, whenever you hit the target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can add your wisdom modifier to the damage.
So you just add wisdom to your roll for damage and to hit?
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, it's not limited to once per turn, and you don't have to pick either or, so you just go, hey, I'm adding my modifier to both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
fine.
When your attack roll misses, it has no limitation. You can do that for every single one of your attacks, basically.
Yes. So then we get into the subclasses.
Yeah, and I think Beastmaster's probably the one that you're going to be the most interested in. So we might as well start there. It also does. Couple notes. Basically, Primal Companion returns. Exceptional Training allows you to command your beast with a bonus action. And Bestial Fury allows your beast to benefit from Hunter's Mark spells. Okay. So here's what you can do with your Beastmaster. On 3rd level, you get your Primal Companion. You magically summon a primal beast, which draws strength from your bond with nature. The beast is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. Here's the beasts! It's the beast stat blocks! They're back! The beasts of the land, beasts of the sea, and beasts of the sky. They're back. They found something to do with it.
Yeah, you're no longer a druid, you're just a companion.
Yeah, you're just a companion character to the ranger. Yay! So anyway, yeah, so you have a beast of the land, beast of the sky, beast of the sea, so you have stat blocks. In combat, the beast acts during its own turn, and you can use its reaction on its own, but the only action it can take is the dodge action. Okay, so...
Well, you missed the part where you said you also determine the kind of animal the beast is, choosing the kind appropriate for the stat block. Whatever kind you choose, the beast bears primal markings, indicating its supernatural origins.
Ooh.
There you go.
Feisty. Cool.
Yes. Can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes is dodge action unless a bonus action is taken during a turn to command it to take a different action.
If it dies within the last hour, you can use your action to touch it and expend a spell slot of first level or higher, and it returns to life within a minute with all of its hit points restored. Okay.
Whenever you finish a long rest, you can summon a different primal beast. The new beast appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, and you choose its stat block appearance. If you already have beast form, a beast from this feature, it vanishes and the new beast appears. The beast vanishes if you die.
Well, yeah. That would be interesting, though, if the beast doesn't vanish when you die, and you just have to keep making new rangers summon a beast. And just have a bunch of beast companions that are around. Sure.
Beast of the Land is a medium beast. 5 plus 5 times your ranger level HP.
Sure.
Strength, Dex, Con of 14, 14, 15. Let's see. Dark Vision, Passive Perception. It knows Charge, and it knows Maul. So that's fun. Beast of the Sea, medium beast, armor class, 13 plus proficiency bonus, 5 plus 5 times your ranger level HP. Strength, Dex, Con of 14, 14, 15. Same basic profile there. This one has Dark Vision up to 90 feet instead of 60.
Yep.
Amphibious, can breathe air and water. Primal Bond, which is the thing that they're all going to have.
Yeah.
And then Binding Strike for melee weapon attack, your spell attack modifier to hit.
It can give a grapple condition.
Yeah,
that's the
which
big
is
thing.
neat. And then Beast of the Sky is small beast, so it's like a burb. It's Dex 16, Con 13, low strength, Dark Vision 60. Has Flyby. It doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when it flies out of reach of enemies.
It's always a good one.
And Primal Bond. So Beast of the Land probably sounds the best with that charge in Maul.
Yeah. Beast of the Sky really doesn't have any special attacks at all.
Oh, yes it does. It's got Shred on the other one.
Oh, I see. Yep,
it's 1d4 plus 3 plus proficiency slashing.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, these are fine. These look very similar to what I saw when we went over the Druid. Like, it's very, very similar when we saw the Druid before. But, hey, it's good that they found a use for it. 7th level is exceptional training when you use your bonus action to command your primal companion beast to take an action. You can also command it to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action as a bonus. In addition, whenever the beast hits with an attack and deals damage, you can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. Well, of course you're going to take force. Force is like something that most enemies can't save against. So,
right.
That's a good one. 11th level, you got Bestial Fury. When you command your primal companion beast to take an action, the beast can make 2 attacks. In addition, the first time each turn it hits a creature under the effect of your hunter's mark, the beast deals extra force damage equal to the bonus damage of that spell.
Nice.
And then at 5th level, share spells. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your primal companion within the spell if the beast is within 30 feet of you.
Yep, that's pretty standard, but it's still nice.
You've got a little mini ranger you at that point, so that's
good. So I like how that is. I like the Primal Bond bit where you can add your proficiency bonus ability. And then what was the other thing that it does? Beast attacks ignore damage resistance. That part.
Oh.
All of them handy. In general.
That's handy. Nice.
Yeah, I like that. Having an animal companion with a hunter is always nice. I wish it was just a class feature, not a subclass feature, but I kind of understand it. But I'm glad that the druid we talked about earlier does get an animal companion of some sort back. Gloomstalkers.
Yeah, let's talk about the Gloomstalkers. I think that they were in 5, but I don't think they were really received all that well.
They were in Xanthars, apparently.
Yeah, they were in Xanthars.
They are home to the darkest places and wielding magic from the Shadowfell. So let's see, designer notes.
Yes, so Dread Ambusher now allows the ranger to deal extra damage more often than only during the first round of combat. It includes the frightened condition. It is frightening. Umbral Sight increases your dark vision by 60 feet instead of 30. Stalker's Fury has been redesigned to enhance the Frighten effect granted by Dread Ambusher, and Shadowy Dodge allows you to teleport immediately after the attack misses, and the feature even works against an attack that has advantage. Okay.
Nice.
So what are we getting here for Gloomstalker? 3rd level. The magic of the Shadowfell ensures you always have certain spells ready. Oh, so you're getting a little spell list here.
Yep.
Disguise Self, Rope Trick, Fear, Greater Invisibility, and Seeming. Okay. And then you get Dread Ambusher. So you've mastered the art of creating frightening ambushes, granting you the following benefits. You become a copperhead snake, basically.
Perfect.
Ambushes leap at the start of the first turn of each combat. Your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of that turn.
Nice.
Oh, would that stack with the 10 feet that you got?
Just from the ranger itself? Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah. You're going to move so quickly with that class. And then Frighten, per turn, when you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d8 psychic damage to the target and force it to make a wisdom saving throw against your spelled save. On a failed save, it has the Frighten condition. Until the start of your next turn, you can use this benefit a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses after a long rest. And you've got an initiative bonus. When you roll initiative, you can add your wisdom modifier to the roll. Great.
You get all of these, apparently. It's not just you pick, it's you get the following benefits.
These are all benefits you get for Dread Ambusher.
Nice. That's pretty great.
That's honestly a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But it gets better. At 3rd level, you also get Umbral Vision. Umbral Sight.
There's a lot of front loading. I would just make a 3rd level Gloomstalker and then multi-class out of it.
Yeah, I know, because at your Umbral Sight means that you have a dark vision out to a range of 60 feet.
And if you already have dark vision when you gain it, its range is increased 60 feet. It
increases by 60 feet. And you're adept at evading creatures that rely on dark vision. While entirely in darkness, you have the invisibility condition to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you in the darkness. Okay.
I'm attacking the darkness. I'm casting magic missile at the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, 3rd level Gloomstalkers feel like they get a lot. Yeah, you're right. That's a lot of front loading.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because taking it with a shadow rogue.
7th level Iron Mind. You have honed your ability to resist the mind-altering powers of your prey. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma, your choice.
You know, I just thought of something using a Umbral Sight and just in general having that blind sight.
Yeah.
Blind sense later. You get a Ranger Gloomstalker.
Yep.
And you make sure you know this spell Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
And just fight in darkness.
Fight in the darkness, yeah. I fight in the darkness now. Not just from it. 11th level, you get Stalker's Fury. So when you use the Frighten effect of your Dread Ambusher feature, you can cause one of the following additional effects. Sudden Strike, you make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature inside 5 feet of the original target and within the weapon's range. Or Mass Fear, each creature within 10 feet of the target must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save. On a failed save, a creature has the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. Great. And then on 15th level, Shadowy Dodge. You can dodge with wisps of supernatural shadow around you. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use the reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. If the attack then misses, you can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space, you see? Okay.
Yeah, this needs to have the subtext of you can only use this once per turn.
Oh my god, yeah. Tell me about it. You'll see people that teleport halfway across the game world if they get the option to abuse this.
We're gonna peasant railgun this.
Yeah, exactly. The Gloomstalker seems perfectly fine, but I will say that, like you were mentioning before, yeah, after 3rd level, it really tapers off a lot. Like, that 3rd level is really, that's a lot. That's a lot. You don't need much after that. But,
yeah, I like it, though. I think it's neat. A nice shadowy hunter stalking and attacking from the shadows and total darkness.
Oh, yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So I think it might get picked up more than it was before. I'm still thinking though that your Beastmaster is probably preferable at this point. But we'll talk a little bit about Hunter, because that was the one in the original playtest material. It has
Hunter's is been a really fun one over the years. Over the years, it has been a fun one. I enjoy it. I think it's decent, but we'll see what they did.
Yeah, couple changes since we looked at the original playtest material. Hunter's Prey now contains the 3 feature options that appeared in 2014. So Giant Killer has been renamed to Retaliator. Now works against attackers of any size.
Nice.
Yeah. Hunter's Lore has moved from 6th to 3rd level. Of course. They're front-loading 3rd levels, I swear. Defensive Tactics returns, but it contains Evasion and Uncanny Dodge from Superior Hunter Defense, and includes a new option, Hunter's Leap. Feedback from the 2014 Hunter strongly preferred the options in Superior Hunter's Defense over the ones in Defensive Tactics. Superior Hunter's Prey replaces multi-attack and lets you choose another option from Hunter's Prey, and Superior Hunter's Defense now lets you choose another option for Defensive Tactics. Okay, so let's see what they did to the Hunter today. 3rd level, Hunter's Prey. You gain one of the following feature options of your choice.
All right.
Okay, so you got 3. You got the Colossus Slayer, Horde Breaker, Retaliator. Your Colossus Slayer. Your tenacity can wear down even the most resilient foes. When you hit a creature with a weapon, the weapon deals an extra 1d8 damage to the target. If it's missing any of its hit points, you can deal this extra damage only once per turn. Horde Breaker.
Yeah, I mean, you're only...
Yeah.
That means if you have multi-attack,
yeah,
you're still only doing the extra 1d8.
Horde Breaker. Once on each of your turns, you can make an attack with a weapon. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet that is within the weapon's range, and you haven't attacked this turn. Cool.
Again, worded poorly, but easily understood.
Yes. And Retaliator, immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you attacks you, you can use your reaction to make an attack with a weapon against that creature, whether or not it hit you. Perfect.
That one doesn't say once per turn. If you're playing a melee ranger, go heavy armor and do that.
Although I am wondering if you're limited because it's using your reaction. Do you only just get the one reaction per turn?
I guess that's probably true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that by nature, pulls it in just a little bit. Also at 3rd level, though, you get Hunter's Lore, where while a creature is marked with your Hunter's Mark, you know whether that creature has any damage or condition immunities, damage resistances, or damage vulnerabilities, and if the creature has any, you know what they are. So, you just know.
Screw you, 100 marked thing. Suddenly I've got the HUD display up for you.
That's right, DM. You thought you had the monster manual, but now I do too. I have the monster manual, and so does my character. 7th level, you have Defensive Tactics. You gain one of the following features, either Evasion, when you are subjected to an effect that lets you make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage. You instead take no damage if you receive the saving throw, and only half damage if you fail. Hunter's Leap. If an enemy you can see enters a space within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
Great way to get away from enemies.
Yeah, I feel like that is similar to a class feature. I can't remember which one, but I think it is a rogue feature where you can do something to that effect. Oh, or Uncanny Dodge. Oh, okay. Now, here it is. When an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can use reaction to have the attack's damage against you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are all fairly standard.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thunder.
Yeah, it happens.
11th level is Superior Hunter's Prey. You get another one of the features from Hunter's Prey.
Mm-hmm.
And then 15th is just another one of the Defensive Tactics.
Yeah, okay. So it's just reinforcement of the previous ones. Okay, that's fine.
Right, which is fine. Those are good things to reinforce, honestly, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the Hunter is pretty straightforward here. Just enhancements to your basic attacks and defensive properties to the Ranger. But I don't think that anyone's going to be complaining about it at all. and I think it's pretty easily understood. Since you've played Rangers before, your impressions seeing this now?
I think these are all pretty nice. I think from before it didn't seem too bad, but I do like the changes that they have done with the feedback, I believe.
Yeah.
Gloom Stalker seems fun. I like the way they did the animal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Deft Explorer, I do like, and I do like that you can swap them out with a meditation, although I don't feel like you need 4 at once and having it improved, but it's not terrible.
People will probably be fairly happy with this, but we'll see. We'll see what the feedback is. After August 17th, I think they're going to be getting feedback, so tell them what you think. Tell them what you think. And
tell them you love it. Tell them you hate it. Let us know what you think.
Yes, also tell us what you think in the comments down below, so we know what you're most excited about or your biggest critique on the class. Alex, I think that's more D&D than we ever wanted to do in a day.
Until we're actually playing D&D, yeah.
Yeah, until we actually play D&D. This episode is as long as a D&D session, it feels like. But
yeah, kind of.
But, hey, we had to do it at least once. We haven't actually talked about specifically Dungeons & Dragons for a while. But if people wanted to see all of the content that we do out there, where could they go on the internet?
You can go to totalpebbleknockdown.com, where we have all of our fun little things and updates and all that good stuff.
Yep. Feel free to check us out over there, and don't forget to check us out on every podcast app known to mankind. You can also check us out on Patreon. There's a banner right on the website to check out our extra content and early releases. And also, we are on various social media networks. I am at Titanium.
I'm at EXP Limited. Our show is at Pebble Knockdown, and if you would like to hang out with us sometime, please feel free to join us on Discord as well.
Yes, it is a public Discord. We're very easy to find, and you can come in and talk about games and such. Because it's kind of what we do here.
It's what we do.
It's in the game. We're in the game.
EA Sports.
No, I regret this already. I shouldn't have said that. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. I hope that your D20s always come up critical. Critical failures or successes.
Critical success. I'm going to go play out in the hail now.
Go. Those are not dice falling from the sky, though.
You know what? Dice rain.
Dice rain.
New fear. New fear unlocked.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us, folks. We will see you on the next one.